Welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for the match reaction, guys, to the Chelsea versus Man City game. First Premier League game of the season as well. We've got lots to get into there, but before we even get into that, we've got transfer news. We're going to be going through Osimhen, J Felix, the news in and around Conor Gallagher, the Maresca press conference as well. Lots and lots and lots to get into right now. What I need you to do is run up the likes, guys. If you ain't running up the likes, please do that now. That'll be massively important if you can do that. And yeah, guys, smash the like buttons, subscribe if you're new, and let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another, for the first match preview of the season, guys. I'm looking forward to it. On top of that, we've got the Maresca comments to go through, the press conference is currently on at the moment. We've got transfer news to catch up on with as well, with Osimhen and J Felix as well, guys. But before you do any of that, please make sure, guys, if you can, check it out Folco, guys. You're getting a 15% off. 50% off any items on Folco as well on checkout. Save 15% on all products. If you do that also as well, and you actually end up buying something, guys, you also get the chance of winning a match ticket to a game at Stamford Bridge as well. So please check out Folco. The comment, literally, you can scan there if you can. Scan the merch sign there, and that will take you into the website for you to be able to look at things and maybe purchase stuff. But go and check it out because there's loads of stuff in there. You got like slippers, pajamas, shirts, shorts, swimming trunks that look really good. Chelsea swimming trunks, mugs, cups, garden gnomes. If you're a gardener and you like garden gnomes, there's loads of stuff over there, guys, for you to check out. So please make sure that you check that out as well. Right. How is everyone in the chat? Good to see you. Nearly 100 people in the building. What we saying, guys, on this Friday? Abdel, welcome. How are you? Good to see you. Eric Blue in the building. Long time. Good to see you, brother. Ashraf, what you saying? Maresca doesn't even know who Felix is, but we're going to talk about that in a second. Hello, Samuel. How are you? Hope you're well. Striker, how are you? Big up, Leo. Guys, coming in chat. Come and say hello. What you're all up to? Good to see you all. Quickly want to jump on one of Maresca's comments, actually, that just come out in regards to Conor Gallagher. Maresca on Conor Gallagher saga. Conor is back. He's training apart. He's doing some medical tests and training. He won't be involved for the game versus Man City because he's trying to find a solution. The solution being Conor Gallagher still wants to leave Chelsea Football Club. That is the solution at the end of the day. The guy left. He was there. He's now back. We're trying to find a solution. That solution being potentially J Felix coming to Chelsea, which is ideally the aim in and around what we're trying to do at the moment with him. Let me just quickly change this banner because I don't want this one. I want that one. That's better. 150 people in the building already. Good to see you all. Come and say hello in the chat, guys. Hassan, good to see you. Daniel, Andrew, how are you, man? Big ups, big ups, big ups, big ups. So Conor Gallagher trying to find a solution. We're still waiting. Can Chelsea and Atletico come to an agreement? How do I feel about it? Well, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Samuel comes to Chelsea. We try and get his imaging rights. He fails a part of the medical, gets sent back. We then have to really purchase a player for the Gallagher deal to kick in along with the Alvarez, even though we've been told it's done separately. The funding is required for Atletico Madrid, and this is why they need us to buy someone really effectively to probably balance their books in many ways. And this is why J Felix has been brought to the table. And we're going to be talking about J Felix very shortly in this show as well. So we move away from the Gallagher news onto a little bit about the owners. According to Chelsea insiders, Clearlake Capital and Todd Bowley's ownership group have knocked around 100 million per year from the wage bill. And you've got to bear in mind, guys, that's still without Lukaku, who we know wants to go to Napoli. Conte wants him over there. The Victor Osimhen story, which we'll be talking about later, could be added to that. You know, you've still got the potentials that Raheem Sterling might leave. Two players that are both on 300k currently at the moment at this club could still be on their way out the door. Ben Chilwell is another one who's looking at potentially maybe getting moved on as well. He's on 200 plus K a week as well. So there's a lot of players in and around the club that are potentially not favoured anymore and have high wage bills, which I think we're going to potentially bring down. And when I looked at the wage structure currently at the moment, the people that are on, the most wages and that, I saw Enzo Fernandez was on 180k. I saw Malo Gusto was on like 45,000. Ridiculous. Cole Palmer was on 50 before he got his upgrade to 150 or 60 or something like that. It was some really crazy numbers. I'm not going to lie. How we've managed to agree these deals with these young players and get them on so low is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But they have an idea. They have a structure. They have what they want, a plan of what they want to try and do. And they're trying to execute it. Hello, how are you? Daniel, you good? What happens if we start the season bad? Do you see Stamford Bridge getting toxic and fans booing? Potentially. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case, though. Big up, Jerry. Good to see you as well. Guys, nearly 200 people in the building. What are we saying? Hope you're all well, guys. Come and say hello in the chat as well if you are still here. So there you go. That goes to show that the owners do have a plan. What's the point of giving everyone raises? Gusto better get paid. What about Osimhen? Well, what about Osimhen? We're going to talk about him very soon as well. That's one to get into in a bit. Keep smashing the likes, guys, as well. So we move away from the news and around the owners and trying to reduce the wage bill. And we talk about a most recent signing that's come to the club in the name of Pedro Neto. Now, according to Daily Hotspur, Tottenham not getting Pedro Neto was a huge blow for the club. They thought it was going to happen. They offered 40 million plus skip, and they still got declined. And it just goes to show, right, because there's so many rivals that think Chelsea don't really have any pulling power. And I find it very weird because when you look at the players that have been coming over, the young, talented, the ones for the future, they've all made this decision on the back of obviously knowing what the plan is. We're still waiting to visually see the plan in the long term, but they're all here for a reason at the end of the day. And it's not because they're getting paid stupid wages, because the wages are not even that high. It's because there's obviously a good vision here to see young talent, or some of the best young talent in the world, all on the same pitch together to be competitive in the next year, couple of years or 3-4 plus years to try and win, Premier Leagues and things like that. And maybe that's where the owners feel the sustainability may come. But Pedro Neto is definitely one for the now. And there's some players that are still being bought in for the now for me. Can we keep Pedro Neto fit? Is going to be equally very important. He's a very, very good player. We've seen him and his stats as well. His stats blow pretty much most everyone out of the water when he's fit. He's very direct, good dribbler, creates. And he will add a lot off the left of something that I feel like we lack a lot. I don't think our left-hand side is as strong as the right. And that's why you see us attack down the right a lot more than the left in many ways. So, Jordi Mendes influence as well. That's true. I agree. He's been doing a little bit of bits. He's also trying to sort out the J Felix deal at the moment as well. So that's something we'll have to see it happens. We're definitely going to get banned. That's why I think they're going crazy with these signings. If we're getting banned, it's because of what's happened with previous historical charges. And look, at the end of the day, the one thing I will say is that we've kind of come out and highlighted that to the Premier League, to the officials. We've told them this is what we found, this is what we think. So we might get punished, but I also may think that it might be a slap on the wrist in many ways because of the way that we've kind of attacked it. And then when people look at us now and they moan about how are Chelsea signing all these players and that, and you listen to David Ornstein the other day talking about how Chelsea are within the PSR rules. They're following the FFP rule. Everything's in order at the moment. You think to yourself, well, it's interesting because they must be knowing what they're doing. And, the truth being told, we've kind of changed this summer because we're not signing players for 100 million anymore, or 200 million, 150 mil, 105 mil. We're getting them for 30 mil, 20 mil, 20 mil, 20 mil, 45 mil, 40 mil. So there's a difference in the way that we're trying to attack this window. And it's obviously to make sure that we're appeasing the PSR rules, that we're keeping everyone happy, everyone on side. And I think we have to wait and see what the outcome is of all of this. We have got updates when they go into Maresca's comments later on as well for the press conference. The game is our defensive and we need to be clinical against City for this game. We do. And that's why I still think we need a striker. And we're going to talk about the strikers in a bit as well. Big up, bro. Good to see you. I hope you're well. Morning, Zombie. How are you? We're the best team in London. Let's go. He joined us. Of course he joined us. Of course. Let's just add that in because that's true. We are the best team in London. Yeah. That guy, them guys over there with the red in North London, they still ain't won anything. So until they win something, don't bother like coming to us. You know what I mean? We don't have a squad, my guy. We have a squadron. We have 4 squads. We have 4 squads, but that's going to obviously go down. And big up, Kasim. Good to see you as well. I hope you're well. We are going to cut that squad down. There's a lot of players still to go out on loan, and I think we're going to see a lot of shocking sales as well. Not shocking, but like out the blue sales. Don't be shocked if Noni Madueke, Sterling, you know, these type of players are potentially out the door. That could happen at a later stage. There's a lot. There's a lot that could happen in that period. Here we go. Not too sure. Big up, AKA. Good to see you guys. Nearly 250 people. 250 people currently in the building right now. How are we all doing, guys? Come and say hello in the chat. I hope you're having a good Friday. Also, before we carry on, please make sure you check out this site, guys. Folco. Chelsea merchandise, from slippers to swimming trunks to shirts to T-shirts to pajamas to garden gnomes if you're into your gardening. Everything Chelsea. Just go and have a look at it. And if any of you guys do purchase anything over on that site, you've got a chance of winning yourself a match ticket, guys. You've got a chance of winning yourself a match ticket. So have a look and see what you think, guys. And you also get a further 15% off as well, guys, using that code. Fabrizio Romano has also commented of recent on Leslie Ukachukwu, who's set to join Southampton on loan. The deal with no buy option clause included. And the truth behind that is because I think Chelsea actually look at Leslie as quite a big prospect in the future. You know, there's something that they see there that they feel, you know, with game time, with experience, with, you know, him going to the right club. Southampton means he's probably going to start, which is good for him. Gaining that experience, playing in a team that, all right, potentially could get relegated, but getting the experience in the Premier League is so important. Leslie's potential, there you go. Chelsea believe in Leslie's potential as a future part of the first team, the same as Andre Santos. Now, these boys, Andre Santos, Leslie, are all for the future, you know? And this is why there's no obligation to buy these players, because we rate them. We rate them. We rate them, you know? Madueke is a player that shouldn't be sold. Interesting. This is the best chance to beat City at any of the seasons. Yep, we're going to talk about that game very soon. So there you go, guys. Leslie Ukachukwu is on his way to Southampton on the loan. Interesting stuff. If you haven't checked it out, there you go. There we go, guys. Osimhen, here we go. Everyone wants that Victor Osimhen. Here we go. We are going to talk about Victor Osimhen very soon. But there's your notes on Leslie Ukachukwu on his loan move to Southampton. And then we move on to wingers. Who's going to be sold? If we bring J Felix in, what are we going to do? Well, the Athletic have come out confirming that Chelsea have set an asking price for 60 million sterling for any clubs interested in signing Noni Madueke. I don't think any club in Premier League is paying that money for Madueke. 30 mil, maybe. 35, maybe. But then I think there's no more than that. So what we've done here right now is completely overvaluated the player, which tells me we have no real plans of selling the player. Because unless Newcastle are going to spend some serious dough, which I don't think they are, to be quite honest with you, I don't see him going for 60 million. If they did, I'd be shocked. I'd be absolutely shocked if someone come in with that as well. So Osimhen's overrated. Tony makes more sense. Well, Tony might be going to Saudi by the sounds of it, from what we've been told. So that's another interesting topic there. But yeah, and you got to think about it, guys. Noni Madueke, is he the right one to go? Should it be Raheem Sterling? There's Mudryk that's also in the chopping blocks as well. What are we going to do here? Pedro Neto comes in. I think he starts. J Felix, if he turns up, is going to have to fit in somewhere. That's the discussion we'll be having in a bit. But yeah, Noni Madueke for 60 million. Listen, if anyone comes with that 60 million and goes, have that, take it. Take it. Take the 60 mil. I think that's good business. I think that's good business, guys. But at the same time, do I think out of all of them, Madueke should go? No. I think we should keep him. I think Sterling potentially should be on the chopping block with his wages. I think his wages is a big issue for me. And Mudryk at the moment, for the price tag and how much we spent on him, he really has to kick on for me. I feel like he's going to struggle even more now with the arrival of Pedro Neto and potentially J Felix as well. What's the future of Carney? Well, we've not had any future comments on Carney. We have been told that there is an asking price for Carney, that if a club comes in with that asking price, he could potentially be sold, which is another weird one because he's another player I would have thought maybe we should have kept, which we're not. We could potentially sell if the right figure comes in. Can beat a player, likes to cut inside and gets goals. Who are we talking about here? Madueke? Chilwell. So Chilwell, I don't think is very favoured at the moment. I think Vega's ahead of Chilwell in that left back position. I think you could easily see Cucurella being number 1, Vega being number 2, Chilwell being number 3. If the right figure came in for Chilwell, I think he would go. To be quite honest, he might already be on the chopping block to go. So this is what I'm saying. I think these next 2 weeks are going to be real interesting to see who we sell, who we keep, this, that, and the other. But I do think Chilwell, Carney, Sterling, potentially Noni, if someone ends up paying this crazy figure, we could see some shot like sales that we never expected. And I think they will take them, especially if they're going to sign Osimhen, especially if they're going to sign J Felix. You know, these are players that we're going to have to free up space for. I hope Noni stays another season. I see him doing well this season. Next year is different with Esteval coming in. Well, Esteval and Kendry Players, guys. It's not just Esteval. And like when I look at both of them, I look at Kendry Players and I feel like he's a little bit more ahead of Esteval in his development phase. But, you know, Esteval's a talented young player, one that in Brazil that they rate very, very highly, you know. Any idea who our starting midfield will be for this season? I think we'll start off with Enzo and Lavia, personally. That's where I think we'll go. And then Caicedo, I feel, will slowly come into it. But it'll be rotation for me, you know. It will be rotation. We have so many players that other clubs not interested or not willing to pay big money for. We're in trouble. Kepa, for example. Kepa's one that I just think we have to scrap with. It's like Lukaku, and this is what I was saying the other day. Like, just get these guys off the book, man. I don't even care if we don't make value on them. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. There must be someone out there that have them. Well, that could happen if they're not ready. Well, Players not on the Players will play off the right, won't he? Esteval plays off the right. So we'll have to wait and see with that. But lots of winger options. Lots and lots and lots of winger options for us at the moment, guys. Nearly 300 people in the building, guys. Keep making sure you're smashing a like. And we was talking about that list of potentials that could be going out the door. Well, here's that list. 9 Chelsea stars are set to be axed in order to balance the books at the club. Conor Gallagher, who we know Chelsea are trying to find a solution, i.e. being J Felix, could be going out the door. Ben Chilwell, does he have any interest? Not too sure. Maybe a Man United or someone like that could surprise us with maybe a 30 million bid. If we get 30 million, I can see Ben Chilwell going. Romelu Lukaku to Napoli. Well, we know that they're trying to strike a deal around 28 odd million for that, you know, to get him out the door. Is he going to be a part of the Osimhen deal? From what we've been told, it'll be separate deals, but I think they will, because we're giving him Lukaku, it will be minus off the overall what we pay for Osimhen potentially. Trevor Chalobah is still at the club as well. One that you know that I'm not too keen on us selling, but he's asking price is 30 million. Crystal Palace could potentially look at him with the outgoings of Mark Gray leaving and maybe going Newcastle. Newcastle putting a bid in for for Mark Gray as well. So maybe Trevor Chalobah at a later stage could go Palace, I'm feeling. Kepa, I just think we've got to wipe our hands with. There must be someone that's interested in him. It's just his wages being the issue, being paid 160 odd K is a lot. So what do we do there? Carney Chukwuemeka, well, we said 30 million for him. Someone puts in a 30 million bid. We heard Barcelona, but I doubt that. You know, there could be other clubs in the Premier League that look at that and go, we could do with a 10. Will we take him? That's a good option. Noni Madueke, we just saw for 60 million, which is a heavy price tag. Newcastle, very interested in him. Are they going to pay that money? I'm not too sure. Datro Fofana, who we bought in, never really saw much of in the team, but it's now on the chopping board to go as well. Had a very good season at Burnley, so maybe you can get a 25 mil push for him if you're lucky. And then there's Armando Broja, who I feel just seems to be past it in his own performances. He's not the same guy that we saw before his injury. I think he's in a position where I think we probably will have to sell him. What we get for him, I'd be happy if we got 30 mil, if we're lucky to get 30 mil. And if we can sell 80% of this list right here, then I only see it as a real good thing for us, because there's a couple of them that just need to go for me anyway. If you had my opinion, I would say Conor Gallagher needs to go, Ben Chilwell needs to go, Romelu Lukaku needs to go, Kepa needs to go, Datro Rafan needs to go, and Broa needs to go. The only ones I would be a little bit like, I don't know, like who do we keep him or not is Noni Madueke and Carney Chukwuemekwa. They're the only real two that I would look at, Vic, how are you, bro? Good to see you. Everyone who's on the chopping board except Enzo, Caicedo, and Jem. Big up. Big up, Vic. Good to see you. Moreira already left it. Moreira's already left as well. So, these are players that we will make money on if we can find someone to home them. They'll give you 20, 30 million, some of them. Conor Gallagher was what? How much was Conor Gallagher? 30 odd million or 35 million, So let's see. Lots to still do because we've got to cut this squad down. And if we're going to get the likes of this guy in next, which is one of the big talks and topics at the moment, J Felix, then we're going to need to start freeing up the wingers. We're going to need to start freeing up the midfield. We're going to need to start selling some players, man, because Chelsea and Atletico Madrid are keeping contacts active behind the scenes for J Felix / Conor Gallagher. Now, they're being done on separate deals still. The Conor Gallagher thing's ready. They just need Atletico to sign it. If Atletico sign it, Gallagher goes straight back there. The saga remains on. The deal in tense situation, but not collapsed. There's still work needs to be done after a Modoran deal has gone off. J Felix has already said yes to Chelsea. Now, people know my feelings about this guy and how I felt about him in the past. And I wasn't very keen. I wasn't not keen on him not being here. It was more the whole wages thing. When we came around the first time he was on, I can't remember, like 200 odd K a week. He got the red card, missed a lot of games. But then he was also surrounded, and I get this, he was also surrounded by players that maybe just not as good as what we got now. We didn't buy him because we didn't want to pay 80 million, and I backed the club for that. He was nowhere worth 80 million for the wages and what we've seen. He just wasn't good enough for me. However, a lot of this fan base get very excited of the idea of him being back and doing his ticky-tacky, carrying the ball. And, I like all that. Listen, J Felix, there's a good player in J Felix. He carries the ball well. He holds the ball well. His link-up plays well. But what lets him down massively is just the final third. And it's very weird. Like, the way he strikes a ball, I'd expect him to have more of a better output, and... we're looking at how much we're looking to sign this guy, and it looks like he's possibly going to come over to the club very soon. We're looking at how much we're possibly going to sign him for. 45 million euros been turned, and we're being told that we're going to have to demand more than 50 to 60 million euros. That's ridiculous money, guys. I'm sorry. That's a lot of money for a player who we don't know how he's going to fit in the Maresca system. Yeah, and his output ain't really there. Like, he's all right. He's still very young. He could turn around. He might fit the system, but like, he's going to be holding bench, surely, unless Pedro now gets injured. You're just going to spend 50 million on Pedro now to then go and spend yourself another 45, 50 million, potentially 55 million sterling, by the way, on J Felix. All right, there might be some added bonuses in that as well. It's a lot of money, man. There's a lot of money to just keep buying 40, 50, 60 million pound wingers. And on top of that, you want to go and get Victor Osimhen as well, right? So it's just, it's funny, but you laugh. But Havertz had a better output than him. He might have been a bit bozo-y off the ball and stuff and whatever, but Havertz's output from assists to goals was better than J Felix's in the time he was at Chelsea. So that's quite embarrassing. And, I like that he carries the ball well. I like that but that worries me. It's his end product. We're going to spend nearly 40, 50 million on signing this guy. But do we really need him with what we currently have at the moment? I don't know. But then it's, how do you utilize him? How do you then get the best out of him because you've spent that money on him? And how do you get him in the team? Because the only real place I see him coming in the team is playing in the middle, which is in Nkunku's area. So is he good backup to Nkunku? Yeah. Is he better backup to Nkunku? Yes. However, I don't know. I don't know. Listen, look, the one thing I will say is this. I will say, if it means Conor Gallagher leaves Chelsea, yeah, and the deal gets moved on and he's coming in, I'm happy to give him a clean slate. Bring him in, clean slate. I will sit back and I'll wait. I want to see him. And I'm not saying that I'm expecting him to fail, but I will sit back and I'll give him the opportunity. I will back him. I will back all my players like I always do. I will back it. I'm just very unsure about it. For me, it's the price tag. It's not even about the player, because the player could be very good with what we have. Palmer and others, J Felix might thrive in that. Like, that could be a case. But it's more about, again, what we're looking to spend on him. And we was meant to get Samuel Amadorium for 30 million. That didn't go through. But then Atletico want double the money for him, nearly 40, 50 million, which means we've got to pay even more money to get Felix. And they might even sell Samu anyway, still. So, like, if they sell Samu and get 40 million off us at the same time, or 30, whatever, 40 odd, 45 million, that's a joke. They've just done us over. They've just done us over. Guys, over 300 people in the building. Jem, they are playing him as a striker in their mind, just in case they don't get anyone else. Fucking hell. That is another thing that could happen. If we don't get Victor Osimhen, Gokores, whoever, they might end up playing him up front. They might even utilize him as like a number 9, which, no. Yeah, but that's still us paying another 15 million on top of what we were meant to pay, guys. This is my point. We've got to pay another 15 million on top for a guy that doesn't fit in the first 11, holds the bench, but he's just a good bench player until we get an injury. Until we get an injury, then you're going to bring him in. So, yeah, all right, fine. Get him in. Quality, squad depth, competitiveness, 70 games this season. I get that. Like, I understand it, but at the same time, I'm just very, like, against my whole how much we're getting him for and what to expect from him. Yeah, but Jonathan, you got to think, what if that money could have gone to getting an actual striker like Victor Osimhen? What if we just don't get him because we got J Felix for fucking 45, 50 million? And maybe we could have just utilised that money to get a striker. Like Felix in the Conference League, do you know what I mean? He's not a scrub though, but he's not been impressive, Chelsea eye test. You can't sit there and tell me over the years that his output levels statistically are good, because they're not. Especially of recent. Not for me. Hey, big up, Ryan. Good to see you. How are you? But they could offload. This is my point. They could literally offload Felix for 45 million. We'd pay it because we want Gallagher gone. And then fucking a couple of days later, they could just sell Samuel Amadorium for 30 million to God knows. Why don't they just sell Samu so that they get their money and just take Gallagher? And then we go and get Victor. Like, why are we being forced by Atletico to have to sign the player? This is my point. That's what I don't like about it. We're being forced to sign someone because he came here. We didn't want to sell his imaging rights to us, or 50% of his imaging rights, and he partly failed his medical. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, like, listen, and the problem is 90% of this fan base want him anyway. So I'm in the small minority here on my own, like I was with Lukaku, and look how that turned out. Not that I'm going to be right about the Felix thing, but the Lukaku thing I was right on. Didn't expect him to do them interviews and that, but still, I definitely knew the Lukaku thing wasn't the right signing. The thing is, Felix will be one of the few experienced players in the team. And he won't even play. He'd be on the bench. It's just the price. Like, look, if you said to me, João Felix will come to Chelsea for 30 million on the back of Samuel Amadorium, cool. I wouldn't even be sitting here talking. I'd be like, okay, cool. That's fair. I'll take it. But they want 50, 60 million euros for the guy, which means we've got to pay more. Yeah, because, yeah, that's true. That's true. But guess what? He doesn't merit that. He doesn't merit nowhere near that since then. So his market value to me is completely dropped. It completely dropped. This is my point, though, Jacko. Like 45, 50. What was the point of buying Neto then? This is my point. Don't buy Neto and get him. But then you've got Neto, and then we're going to spend another 45, 50 million on another winger /10 / whatever whatever. 30 million for the same as what the Samuel Dorian deal was. The same thing, just replaced him with another person. Cool. Come on, then. Let's do it. Gallagher, you got Gallagher for it. We got Felix for it. You don't want him. Like that's my mindset with it. That's my mindset with it anyway. Like, but that's my point. And then we're gonna go and sign him for 45 million or 40 million. Like, why? Why? Right. Anyway, I mean, do you deem him? He's experienced. Don't get me wrong. How old is he now? Let's have a look. He's that experienced that he hardly gets in the teams that he's at outside Chelsea. Like, he's 24. He falls into the bracket. He falls into the bracket of buying him because he's 24. Look, there's no doubt that there's a quality in him. Carries the ball well, does good with the ball, 1-2s, you know, all of that. I've seen it. His output is still left for question mark for me. However, if he's going to come off the bench and come into games and add something and maybe nick a goal for us here and there, yeah, cool. But if you're bringing him in on the back of us not getting Osimhen now because we can't afford to go and put that money along with Felix because Atletico have forced us into getting this guy rather than just selling Samu to someone else, then I've got a problem about it. Because all of you bang on about us having a striker, but as soon as your little Felix pops up, oh, Felix, we need him. Yeah, all of a sudden it's all about Felix again. Not all of you, but the ones that, I'm not talking about all of you in here, but you know what I mean, like talking about Chelsea Twitter in general. That's all I see. João Felix glazing. Let me glaze about João Felix. 45, 50, 60 million. Pay it. Come on, man. 30 mil. That's it. He's bench player at best at the moment. 30 mil. Yeah. He's not even the same profile as Samuel Madorian, which means we've got another winger 10, which maybe we don't even need at this moment in time. But he brings good squad depth and we can play him off the bench and maybe he can have an impact with his abilities. Yeah. Cool. That's it. That's it. But listen, like, we have Jackson as a backup striker. For who? For who? Oh, listen. Let me just clarify this as well before we even go forward onto the next bit. I am so happy we did not sign Samuel Madorian. I saw again there were some people excited about that. I didn't want this guy. He was so raw. He just wasn't it for me. Like, he weren't even in like the people comparing him to Jackson's first year at Chelsea. He's even more raw than that for me. So him not coming to Chelsea, I was happy. But then I saw João Felix pop up and I was like, okay, does that kind of balance what we're trying to do? It was meant to be getting a striker. We've now got forced into just having to get someone else. And then it was just how much. For me, it's just how much with him. You know? Just bring in Victor. And Nkunku and Felix will have injury spells, bro. This is also the first year in Noni's career. Yeah, look, fine. Squad depth. Let's go for it. Squad depth. Sweet. Like, I'm down with it. What I'm not down for it is 45. I just need to see what we do about the striker situation. Because if we bring Felix in first, which I think we're going to bring Felix in, obviously we've got the Lukaku thing attached to the whole Osimhen and maybe another player and whatever they've been telling us. But it's just about what we do and how we do it. And listen, are we stronger with Felix and Osimhen in the team? Yes. Would I be happy about maybe spending 45, 50 million on him? No, personally. Because, again, how much output are we going to get from him? How much are we actually going to get from him? That's yet to be told. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he comes in and he plays really well and he links up with Palmer, which I expect him to. There's no excuses this time for me. If he comes back to Chelsea, I need to see the J Felix, because he's got people around him now. Like, do you know what I mean? So let's see. Going on to Victor Osimhen. Well, we've heard some things. Obviously, Rudy Gallagher said that it's on its key stages. He also said that there's a huge operation of Lukaku plus the inclusion of either Casadei, Kepa, or Chalobah for the striker. Where do we stand with Osimhen at the moment? Well, from what Fabrizio's saying, the big issue with Osimhen is his wages, because he doesn't want to drop his wage, which is a bit weird, because if you want to be at Chelsea, and Obi Mikel talks about him wanting to be a Chelsea player and this, that, and the other, like, surely you would just cut your wage down just to get at the club and show and prove yourself, and then do what Palmer did, get an increase in your wage. Do you get what I mean? Like, come and play your game, drop your wage, come and play your game, and if you merit it and you earn it, they will give you more wages, like 10 million a year he wants or something. So listen, do we need Victor Osimhen? Well, again, it falls down to price for me. You know, I would be happy with anything up to 50, 60 million plus Lukaku with him. Fine. Does he fit what we're trying to do and what we need? Not completely. Again, I need to watch him a bit more, because technically I'm a little bit unsure with Victor Osimhen. But what does he actually give us? He gives us the opportunity to hoof balls when we need to, win balls in the air, because aerially is his strength. He's just very good in the air, very strong, very good. What else is he very good at? Just scoring all different types of goals in the box. For me, he's a fox in the box. You put the ball in there, he's going to get on the end of it in either angle. It doesn't matter if it's off the left, off the right. He's got the ability to really find the back of the net in the box. Yeah, he'll have his missed chances and whatever. Most strikers do. But he gives us that, what I think we need still, which is someone that's going to just put the ball in the back of the net. And some people I know want more of a complete striker, or someone that can do a bit more. And I understand that also. But that, again, falls down to how much we spend on him now. But if he's scoring goals, yeah, if he's making good runs off the ball, when he's dragging defenses, if he's just in there when we're creating a lot, because let's be serious, we have no issues with creating right now. We have no issues with creating. The problem we have is just seems to still be the problem. It's just putting it in the back of the net. And we need people that are going to put it in the back of the net, because Nkunku's going to do it. Cole Palmer's going to do it. You put Osimhen in that phase as well. You're giving yourself a real good chance, and he's a good player. There's no doubts of his quality. He's a top player. He is. How good can he be? He's yet to be judged, in my opinion. Is his overall game good enough? Maybe you can work on that, or maybe it is, and it's just underrated, because there's a lot of people unsure about that. But he gives us things we haven't got. And one of the big things for me is the aerial side, corners, free kicks, defending corners. Strong. He's just strong. In the box, creating for him. Little Palmer dinks over the top. Neto's quality of assisted levels are crazy. Him being able to create for Osimhen, Palmer, Nkunku. And if you've got Victor Osimhen and Nkunku up front, you've got a problem. If the chemistry starts running with them two, I think you've got a problem. Because Nkunku will do all the carrying and linking and then run into them spaces, and he will just occupy spaces that he ain't in, because he's got that understanding, and just be dangerous and wait for the balls to hit him. And once the balls hit him, he's just got to put it in the back of the net, you know? So, yes, Victor Osimhen. Yes, it depends on how much we sign him. Again, if we're signing for like nearly 100 plus mil, then I'm a bit meh again about it, to be quite honest with you. However, do we need him? Yes. I want 3 strikers in the team. To be quite honest with you. Especially on the back of knowing that we've got to go into a season with 70 plus games. It makes sense to do that. But yeah, you know, Get it done. Get it done. And for me, he's more important than anything right now. We need a striker, and he's at the top of the pile when you look at the striker market, which is very deflated and not really that good, to be quite honest with you. For me, the two strikers that you could sign and fit in this team is Victor Osimhen and Gyökeres. They're my two strikers. And maybe Ivan Toney. 3. Ivan Toney, Victor Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen. The only thing I would say about Victor Gyökeres is I think his overall game is a bit better than Osimhen's. You know, so they're like, you get Gyökeres in this team. He's my number one personally. I've got a feeling Arsenal are going to get him. Which is going to thingy. But the fact that we're going for Victor Osimhen, fine. Like, I have no issues with that. But they're the 3 that I feel could really fit what we're trying to do right now. It's just me, or does this Osimhen deal feel a little too big? I just feel it's going to take a lot of time persuading wages, persuading fee, persuading maybe adding player. Like, I don't know. It's a tough one. I like Gyökeres, but I think that Victor is more realistic for us. Yeah, I agree, Shaq. I agree with that. Forget price, bro, for these players. Like, look at the skill set at the squad fit. I have up on fees after. Yeah, but then at the same time, you got to look at what we're trying to do. And we was never going to spend that kind of money going into every season, you know, and you've seen it. Because look at all the signings we have made. They're all 20s, 30s, 40s. We've kept them quite even. And then when we sell a player, it's 30 mil and then sell another. So we're kind of like saying quite good. I think we sold like 140 odd plus £1 million worth of players at the moment, from what I understand, like, barring Conor Gallagher still goes, you know. So like, it's this Victor one's going to be later, and I still think there's going to be a load of players going. So it's going to be interesting to see at the end, players bought in to players bought out. We'll review it when it comes, where we're at with it, you know. Profit wise, we get 35 million up front for Gallagher, then 55 million we'll pay for Felix, amortize over his contract. Yeah, it probably will. Like, don't get me wrong, over probably a 5-6 year deal. I agree. Where eventually Victor is going to have compromised a bit. We're basically playing chicken with Napoli. Yeah. I hear that. But we'll keep you up posted with that, guys. Any news on Victor Osimhen, J Felix, we will come straight back. It will literally be me live here. Here we go, hopefully, on any of these. So make sure you are around for any, if it's even late evening, whatever. This is where you need to be. Make sure you give us a follow. Hit the thumb, guys. Hit the thumb. Give us a follow. Let's get the likes up. And also, check out Folco, guys. There's 400 people in the building right now. Check out Folco. We've got a discount at the moment for all Chelsea merchandise over there. You can get garden gnomes if you're a gardener. You can get slippers. You can get some really nice Chelsea swimming shorts, blue with the little lion logo on it. It looks so sick. Yeah. You got Chelsea cups over there. You've got a number of things over there. Anything you can think of has Chelsea on it is over there. Folco. And if you want to check it out, I'll give you a quick scanner quickly before we go on to the next part of it. If you want to check it out, this is where is it? I always get lost where it is. This is the scan code for it. So if you want to check it out, scan that, 15% off stock. And if you do buy something off the site, you put yourself in the jug for an opportunity to win yourself a ticket to go and watch Chelsea at Stamford Bridge as well, guys. So there you go. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge as well. So get yourself in that competition, guys. Get yourself in that competition as well and check it out. I'll leave this one up for now so you can see where it is. Folco is the name of the website, guys. So go and have a look. The swap deal is a good one if we get not paying it all in cash. Potentially. You know, if we get Osimhen for 30-40 mil plus Lukaku plus Cassidy, then fine, you know. It's not going to happen, though. Right. On to the game over the weekend. Off the transfers and on to the game, guys. Maresca's interview. That's what we're going to look at right now. Enzo Maresca's interview discussions. So we're going to scroll back onto Pies and we're going to start here. And he talks about the future of Conor Gallagher. And he says Maresca on Gallagher's future. Conor is back, but he's training a bit apart. He's doing some medical tests and training. You know better than me, but in the moment, he's trying to find a solution to leave. We know he wants to leave The solution is to get him to leave. J Felix being the answer to that. We know that. He also confirms we have 0 injuries in the team. Apart from Reece James, but that don't matter because Reece James can't even play for the next 3 games. So Reece James being injured is great. This was the best preseason we've had in terms of injuries. I agree. So far, so good. Hopefully that continues going into the season. He then goes on to talk about the J Felix and Osimhen situation. And he says, they are not our players. It's not the right time to talk about these players. The club knows exactly what I think in case we need to do something. In the end of the transfer window, we can bring some players. That basically means we're signing players. That message right there tells me we're signing players, right? That's what that tells me. He goes on to talk about Maresca. I am not going to talk about a Napoli player who is the other one and Atletico is his player, but hopefully we can bring in some players. So he wants players. So he's not going to talk about them, but he wants players. So he's already told the board we need some more players. Striker. Interesting. He also says the team is getting better game by game. We need fan support. You hear them inside the stadium. If the fans are patient, then we will pay them back with results. And that's what he says. Patience is a virtue going into the beginning of the season. We're going to need it, guys. It's going to be very rocky at the beginning. I still feel that. We've not won a game in pre-season, I think, other than one. So, there's a lot of pressure on us to perform. Definitely perform. At the moment, if I start to think I have 43 players, it is not a good thing. I have 28 training with me. Paul and Lawrence are in charge of finding solutions for these guys, not me. Basically, too many players. Players that need to go out the door. And guess what? Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley better sort themselves out. We try to adopt to how the other team attack and press us. We are not going to always play in one way. We try to put the players in positions where they can give their best. So, and I like that because what he's saying is he can adapt to the opposition. They're going to play different styles. It's not going to be all-out attack, fluently football. We might have to concede slightly. Be a little bit more tighter in the midfield, not maybe make them runs that we'd maybe make up the pitch against other teams where we can break through. I like that. He's thinking, how can I play against each team? How do I set up where we're effective and the players understand the positions and they can play to it? Because they've got to play into, even though it's one maybe same system, it's different roles in the systems. I keep telling people this. So if you play 3 midfielders against Man City, we're maybe not going to cut them open as quickly as we like to, but we'll keep the ball maybe a bit better. As if you've got Palmer and Nkunku, Neto, Jackson, and then whoever else, Enzo there, we're going all out. When we receive the ball, it's very direct. They're going to be making runs and we're going to try and play balls quickly in. It's different styles of how we play, right? But each player gives a different role. Each player gives a role. Too bad Leslie's gone. He's gone on loan to Southampton. Yeah. He is tactically adaptable because we press in. Explains he is tactically adaptable because we pressed in 4 different ways in pre-season and played on the ball 2 different ways in pre-season. We pressed 4 different ways. He said he reckons, and on the ball we played 2 different ways. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Maresca says Maresca says pay him double his wages if he has to be in charge to find transfer solutions for outgoing players. Basically saying pay me more. Can Pedro Neto play against City? His physical condition is good. The only problem with Pedro is he's only been here for 2-3 days and he needs to understand the way we want to play, but he can completely fit. Well, Neto will pick it up quickly. He's a quality player. So will we see Neto? Maybe for 20 minutes, I reckon. 20 minutes in the game. But that's it. That's it on the Maresca side of things. Nothing too much. I miss Silva. I do as well. There's talks about us actually utilising Colwill and Fofana as our main back two. I've seen comments about that as well. So maybe they're going to be the front. They're going to be the two that start the season. So let's see. But on paper, Colwell and Fofana should be our best defenders. But I don't know. I really don't know if they are. Right. Chelsea versus Man City at home. How many games have we played? What's the breakdown? Head to head, Chelsea versus Man City. 27 games have been won at the Bridge. We've lost 18 and drawn 9. Goals 4, 76. Goals against 59. They've scored a fair share of goals against us, guys. But they also have their own issues. They've got no Bob. They've got no Rodri. So, KDB isn't fit. Grealish apparently he's hurt himself as well. There's a couple of, key players from that they're missing. So this is a good chance for Chelsea. First game of the season, which I'm happy that we're playing in the first game of the season, by the way, to really capitalise and maybe try and take one here. Now, what was that last couple of games with them? Well, 4-2. Remember, away. That was in the pre-season, wasn't it? But when we look at the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Premier League, we lost 1-0 in the FA Cup, as we remember. And we drew 1-1 in the Premier League with them. So, effectively, not the greatest record with them at the moment. We do owe them one when you look at the record as well. So it's one of them ones where we need to see what happens. Yeah, I can get it. Yeah, there you go. 2 seconds. I need to send it. Let me get the panel in there. We need the panel. We need the panel in. Let's get the panel. I only just saw his message now. This is what I'm saying. I don't see these messages when people message me. Walker isn't back yet as well. Yeah, Walker isn't back as well. So they've got a lot of players out as well. However, how will we look when lining up? That's the real question mark here. Well, we're going to do a quick FIFA builder as well. We're going to talk about that now. Get involved in the chat, guys. I want to know what your thoughts and feelings are. Now, I think there's a good chance we might see a 4-3-3 potentially if the first 4-3-3 in a while. If we don't, then it could be back to a 4-2-3-1. What do you guys feel in the chat is the formation that you feel we're going to play? Let us know. I'd be intrigued to know. Yeah, cool, bro. No worries. Intrigued to know. 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. We can do a couple anyway. Who starts in goal, guys? Is it going to be Sanchez or is it going to be Jorgensen? Well, I'm going to be quite honest here. I think he's going to play Sanchez. Yeah, I do. I think Sanchez is going to start in goal. Well, how do you think we're going to set up going into the game structurally? I mean, do you think Jorgensen's going to start? Played 1.5 games? I wouldn't mind Jorgensen starting. I've got a feeling Sanchez is going to start. I don't know why. He's going to start Sanchez, isn't he? Why was Sanchez playing the last game? Quick question. Did Jorgensen play in the second half against Inter Milan? Does anyone remember? Or was it Sanchez? Does anyone remember in the chat? Over 400 people in the building, guys. Let us know. Did we? Did anyone remember? I can't remember if Jorgensen played. No. So if Jorgensen hasn't played in that Inter Milan game, he ain't started against Man City. He ain't started against Man City for me already. Which means we're going to go in with Sanchez. Jesus Christ. Fez. Anyway, it is what it is, isn't it? Right. Left back. Well, we're very limited with Reece James out. So I'm going to go with Mark Cucurella, who I think gives you the option for inverting. What I saw in the Inter Milan game, it was very different. And I think you guys can agree. We didn't play an inverted fullback. We didn't play an inverted fullback once. It was just natural fullbacks. I'm thinking we're going to do the same. I don't think we're going to play an inverted fullback against Man City. I think we're going to play fullbacks, natural, up and down the wing. Up and down the wing. So I'm going to go with Cucurella. I'm going to go with Colwill. And I'm going to go with Fofana because I think he's going to start him. And then right back is only one person, right? Malo Gusto. That, for me, is our back five. Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you disagree? The only thing that worries me that is Haaland's just big and sometimes you need a bit of a bigger player, but nor am I. Don't lie. No, I'm not even comfortable with it. But I think that's going to be our back four. I think that's going to be our back four. Let me take this banner out now because we can't see it. There we go. I think that's going to be our back four. And then in midfield, I think Lavia's going to play in. I think Lavia's going to play in the there. I think Enzo's going to play. He'll be captain. And then my question to you guys is who plays as that third person that's in the attack? Who plays in that third person in the attack? Is it Nkunku? Is it like that? But not like that. It's more like a 4-3-3 with a 2. 3. Maybe like that. Is it more like that? What do you think? Oh, that is the back five. Couch, I've sent the link in the chat if you're about as well. I think you're away still, aren't you? Why does he start? I don't think he starts. I don't understand why he's so confident he starts. He hasn't really played much football. That's why the only reason I don't think he starts. I think he's going to start Enzo and Lavia. That's my feeling. Still away, yeah. And then KDH. And then I think we're going to play Palmer. But then Palmer ain't played like this. Palmer's got to play, isn't he? You've got to play Palmer. Yeah, is he going to play Madueke instead of Palmer? I think Sterling will start. Sterling has a good record against Man City. I'd play him. I'd play Sterling against Man City. And then we ain't got... Is Mark Guiu in? No, Mark Guiu. I think Mark... I can't even put Mark Guiu in because he's not even on here. He's not even on it. I have to pick some random person. Oh. Guiu. I'll just put... Let's just put Jackson there. He ain't going to start, but I've got a feeling it's going to be Mark Guiu. No, ain't starting, Josh. He's not ready. He's already said that in the press conference. No, ain't starting. I don't think anyway. I'll be shocked if he starts. I think Sterling's going to start. Palmer, Guiu, Sterling. Yeah, I agree. Palmer, Guiu, Sterling's what I think. Palmer, Guiu, Sterling, and Nkunku, right? Yeah, he won't start yet. Jackson starts. You think he starts? I think. You think Nkunku will play striker? That's interesting. Yeah, but Josh, he's not starting. But what he basically said, was he's only been here 3 days. He's fitness-wise, he's okay, but he's not even doesn't really understand how they want to play. And imagine coming in against Man City and not understanding your role. Right? He won't start. Q won't start. Interesting. Everyone's mixed on this. Guys, we've got 405 people in the building right now. 415 people in the building right now. Come say hello. Tap the screens. Run it up for me. Why do you guys think these guys won't start just because they didn't play it? No, of course not. But Pedro Neto has literally just arrived, and it's not like we don't have options not to play there. And I think Raheem Sterling against Man City's a given for me. I would play Sterling against Man City. He seems to just always score against Man City. Like, why would you not play the guy? Like, he loves it. We could see that. We could. Or maybe, I don't think he's going to do this. Maybe we see this. This. Yeah, this. Maybe we do see this. Maybe he does say it's time for the front. It's time for the three Maybe it's time for the 3. But I don't see why. No Rodri, no Bob. You need to take it to him a bit. I feel like we need to take it to him a bit. No, he hasn't decided. But again, we're here assuming what we think we're going to start, how we're going to start, right? I'd love Neto to start. Don't get me wrong. Put Neto in straight away. I'm cool with that. But I've got a feeling he won't. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. I'll be shocked if he starts now. I don't like Nkunku striker. No, man. 1 minute. Go for him. Go full in. Go for Liam. Like, forget the defense right now. How would you set up? Not yet. No, not heard anything, Will, on that one. No, I agree. I honestly think Nkunku's going to be there, but I think Enzo plays. So if Enzo's playing, Lavia's playing, I think we have a striker. And I think Caicedo comes off the bench in this one. I think Caicedo comes off the bench. I think it's going to be that. Personally, that's me. He might even start Mark Guiu up front. Might shock us. It could be Mark Guiu. But Jackson, if he's there, should play. So I'm going to go as far to say that is my team. I'm going to go to say that's my bit and that's the team. If anyone's around, I don't know if anyone's around right now. Let's get Josh in. I want to hear what Josh has got to say now. Let's get Josh in if he's about. We've got another 20 odd minutes of this live. Let's have a little chat. I have sent the link in the chat, boys. If anyone's about, no, Don said he might come in a bit. Declared said he's going to come in a bit. They're all going to come when I need to come off. It's normal. They're all going to turn up when I need to come off. Who's our centre backs again? Carl Will. I'll show you our centre backs now. That's the team I think we're going to play. That's the team I think we'll play. That's the team I think we're going to play. But I think Enzo's role with Lavia is going to be more of a pivot. Like 2 in the middle and then Nkunku in the spaces. Sterling off the left, Palm off the right, Jackson. That's what I think we're going to do. Look at Lavia's score there. I actually didn't realise that. Look. Lavia. That's all they've got for him. That's all they got for him, G. They don't rate him like that. They're like Colwill. Oh, Lavia. Well, we've been inverted all pre-season, Jim. So why is he going to play Enzo Lavia in the field? Did he invert against Inter Milan? He didn't invert against Inter Milan the whole game. In fact, he didn't invert against Inter Milan the whole game. So what? Like, why would he not just play natural fullbacks? And if you're playing against a team that has natural wingers, and again, I could be wrong. Ashraf could be right here. If you've got playing against a team that's going to play with natural wingers and attack you, Doku, whoever, down the wing, you're going to want your fullbacks to hold position. So I think he's going to play. They might invert in the game. Don't get me wrong. They might in moments in the game invert. But in terms of structurally how we set up, I think we'll play with natural fullbacks. And then in game, someone might come in if they do, and then we go into a 3 if Man City have took a step back. That's what I think. But I don't think we'll do it all the time. Saying Caicedo is a match fixture is an unformed. It's just weird as he put him in. Listen, this is not a problem. Like, it could be Enzo that's not playing. It could be Enzo. It could be Lavia and Caicedo played as a pivot. It could be Enzo Lavia. It could be Lavia. It could be Enzo Caicedo. Is Lavia on the bench? Yeah, well, that's true. But at the same time, yeah, because they took a step back. You don't need to. You just need natural fullbacks. But this is the great thing. He could do a number of things, and we don't know. He can literally do a number of things, and that's what's good right now, you know. But hey, I saw Jimmy in here as well. Big up Jimmy, man. Big up Jimmy. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Declared war's in the building. Jesus Christ. What are you saying, declared war?
Pick up, everyone. It's been a while, Jim.
How are you, bro?
Yeah, good. Come
What
back
are you
from
saying?
Asia.
What are you saying about the game on the weekend, bro?
It might be maybe one to forget and just move on. But like you said, they're missing so many players, so we do have a chance. But I mean, it's Man City. It's kind of get it out of the way, and I think we got a good run after that. So
How
if yeah,
do you think we'll set up?
um, much like we have been in the preseason, kind of like how you had it now. Um, I think there might be maybe one or two surprises with certain players.
Yeah, I've seen
Um,
it.
I f- yeah. I also think that he might tweak it a little
And
because it is Man City.
do what?
Maybe a bit more pragmatic. I mean, I'm thinking like, do you remember when Sarri stuck to his gun, stuck
Mm,
to his guns,
yeah.
and remember that result
What, against Man
when we were
City?
just all out,
The worst result I've ever seen in my life, like 6 or 7
and
nil, isn't it? Yeah.
and Maresca's very much similar in terms of
So
sticking to
you're
principle.
predicting
But
Chelsea to lose 6-0 tomorrow.
no, I'm just saying that I feel like he would avoid that, so he might actually think
Oh, okay.
to maybe tweak it a little bit, maybe not commit as much. Maybe the profile of player might be more defensive. Maybe the midfield might be more defensive. So why not have like what you got here, Jackson,
Yeah.
Palmer? I missed that. So maybe one of those players are more pragmatic nature, a more defensive profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Uh,
come back to it in 2 seconds because we have got some breaking news. In Ipswich Town have approached Armando Broja and his camp to present their project. Busy hours for Ipswich. Calvin Phillips done, Sammy done, Jen's done. They're now talking to Armando Broja to Ipswich Town, guys. So that's just breaking at the moment from Fabrizio Romano himself, literally 3 minutes ago. There's a good chance that Broja could be sold if he's interested, and he needs to go. He's one of the players that for me that needs to go. So there's some news for you there already, guys, on that one. What do you think about that, Declared? Good?
yeah, more for the kitty.
More for the key?
Um, for the treasure chest. I think
Hmm.
Brazier was always going. Uh, I mean, we were talking about it back then to hope he had a good World Cup. So he did go for big money, but I guess not. Um, but he still plays in the Premier League, so I think it's a good move for both parties. To be honest, he needs game time. That's all he really needs, and we
Here's a
need
fab
cash.
bomber. I think we're going to have a cut more than maybe before the end of the day, guys. But there you go right now. Amanda Broek is being presented the Ipswich Town project as we currently speak. Could he be going Ipswich? We'll wait and see and find out if that turns into something more concrete. But going back to what you were saying, Declared on the lineup, you said pragmatic. You said they might do things differently. What do you think he could potentially do?
Um, there's a possibility that Cole Palmer might not be 100% fit, but he has to play. So there's probably a chance that he might not start, but I think one of Nkuku, Palmer, Jackson, even Sterling would be different. One of them, and
What
I
about the
think probably
midfield?
Jackson.
What's your thoughts on the
Yeah, I think
midfield?
that's
Yeah.
I think that's where he wants to add someone else.
Mm.
He ruled out Calcedo, yeah.
Well,
Um,
I mean, apparently that people think he might play as well. So, do you see a three-man midfield or with Caicedo in there as well, maybe?
Man,
Or
he could even start Dewsbury Hall if he feels that that person's going to
yeah,
help the style of play. Um,
he could just do Drewsbury all year, couldn't he? He could do this. He could actually do this. How do you spell his name? I hate trying to spell his name. Dewsbury. Who's that? That's just
DW.
coming. Who's there? He is. The Chelsea one. There we go. We've got ads in the building as well. So you reckon maybe Dewsbury Hall might play off that like left side again? And what we saw, I didn't really like that. I'm not gonna lie. You got wingers, just use your wingers. You know what I mean? Like obviously it changes in game, but yeah, you could see that.
You could have him in the middle, I think. If he needs him to dictate more play, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, ads.
But the lack of wingers here is the other thing as well. Yeah.
Well, we haven't really got lack of wingers. We've got Madueke, we've got Neto on the bench, we've got players, haven't we? We've got Madrid.
So, I mean, in the lineup that you had,
yeah, of course, yeah. I hear that. I hear you, bro. Ads, what are you saying?
Yo, yeah, I'm good. First and foremost, life's good, isn't it? Good to be big up yourselves, big up everybody listening as well. Back at the start of another season, following the Chelsea. Always eventful. So let's see what this one has in store. But as for this first game, and how we're going to set up, obviously it's important that we get off to a good start. I'm looking at sort of the first 3-4 fixtures. So even if this one isn't the best result, we just need to try and build momentum at the start of the season because that's what we failed to do last season, and we saw how that ended. And yeah, I do agree a bit with what Declared is saying. I think we could see a more pragmatic setup because when we did play City in pre-season, that was actually the only game we saw Lavia, Enzo, and Caicedo start, and it could be something similar. So if we want to just change the formation quickly to a 3-4-2-1 because that's kind of more the setup on the ball when we've been playing. Again, I did hear a little bit what you were saying earlier, just as I was trying to get out of my meeting. Against Inter Milan, we did technically play a bit more traditional with the fullbacks, but at times it was kind of Gusto was taking chances to underlap and invert, and at times then it would be Cucurella. So I feel like they kind of got a bit of a balance. So, but I feel like generally the shape against Inter and against I would say the shape for most of preseason was kind of this. So let's just have it like this year. So we can have it Cucurella being it, even though I think it will fluctuate between Cucurella and Gusto both inverting. You would have Enzo switching with Sterling. Because obviously Enzo will be kind of one of the more advanced 8.
Yeah.
And then, so for me, I think we could see Nkunku start as a 9, just because I think he would maybe want to start an extra midfielder in there and have a bit more balance. I think.
So who plays to the right?
So on the right, that's the question, right? Because obviously Palmer is our best right winger. He hasn't started much in pre-season. And I still feel like in this setup, he would actually suit playing as one of the 8, sort of like where Nkunku's been for most of the preseason. So it's a tricky one. And honestly, I think maybe Madueke might start this game when he might use Palmer as more of an impact sub for me. That's what I'm probably anticipating. Again, I could be wrong. It could be Palmer straight in. And obviously the Madueke off the bench. But I think it could be that.
Like, who plays on that right if Madueke's in the team or there? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, who would play here?
So then that's the question, right? Because you know what it is? If we were to start Enzo, Lavia, and Caicedo, then we wouldn't necessarily need to start Dewsbury Hall too. But what I'm gonna say for this setup is I'm gonna say, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe in fact no, because I feel like Enzo probably is better off the left. You know what? Scrap it. I'm gonna actually leave Dewsbury Hall out, even though I feel like there's a good chance that he could even come into this and start. But I'm gonna say Nkunku does play on the right, and then we have Gui up front. Because to be fair, he does give us a good press. He does lead the line well in terms of that. And I feel like where we've seen Nkunku be his best this preseason has been at sort of like a right 8 position. And obviously, I think like Mariska did mention that he didn't like Enzo as much on the right hand side when it comes to playing in this sort of shape. Prefers him more on the left where he can cut in onto his right foot and sort of whipping crosses or try and create. So yeah, obviously you can put Jackson up there because I know Guy probably hasn't got a card on FIFA yet. No. So yeah, I feel like it can be something like that. Again, it can fluctuate because the Inter Milan game kind of threw me because we kind of changed up a little bit. We had Dewsbury starting as sort of a traditional 10. Enzo wasn't the pivot with Lavia for most of the game, but it did fluctuate a little bit. So it's interesting. We have options for sure, and that's why I'm interested to see how we're going to develop through this season because you've got the players to play many different kinds of ways. But again, City, we know it's going to be a tough game. I just really hope we can get a result.
Interesting. Yeah. And like, there's not much to really say other than like, I expect us to have a go. We could most probably lose this game, but you know, the fact that we've not won I think we've won one preseason game, haven't we, over all of them. The fact that we've not even won a game is a little bit worrying, but at the same time, time playing the system. Just brought Pedro Neto in as well. You know, he could get 20 minutes in the game at some point. Palmer could come on as an impact. I think we have a lot of like quality now that can just come in the game and just maybe influence it later on as well. So, you know, the great thing with this for me is the system probably stays the same. It's just the variation and the roles, right? Because you can bring in, you know, I don't know, Palmer in the 8, giving Kunku a break maybe and take him off on the 60 and then throw Pedro Neto on the left. Do you know what I mean? Or saying, or bring Caicedo on for like Enzo and go a bit more like pivot based with Lavia in it and Caicedo. Like, it depends. Like, I think he just has so many variation of options at the moment. Touchwood with no injuries, barring Reece James, which doesn't matter because he can't play anyway. But it's I'm really looking forward to seeing how we set up and how we play and how he utilizes the bench in game. Because one of my biggest questions on Poch was like he didn't really use the bench well enough in moments when it needed it, and there might be points where we're just not in control of this game and we're struggling, and maybe it needs just a little tweak. If it means maybe not inverting and putting people back as a back four and bringing on a pivot player like Caicedo who can sit next to Lavia and just be a bit more defensive, and then allow the boys up front to be a bit more, you know, go the other way. You know, he needs to have that in him for me, you know, and that's what I want to see from my manager. I want him to work out problems, you know, solve problems that will happen in games and show us that you have, you know, you can see what you need to do in game to convert a draw or a loss maybe to a win, or, you know, even if we don't win, but we play better for 30 minutes because he's impacted the game. Like, you can see what we're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a different, that's what I want to see. I don't just want to see what I saw from Poch.
100%. We have a lot of options and we have a lot of players you can play in different roles. So you're absolutely right. And it's important to just, you know, assess how we're going to be able to break certain teams down. And, you know, certain players are going to be right for certain positions because, again, obviously Eric Blue just put the message about he wants Nkunku to be as the 8 rather than a 9. And I agree for the majority of the season. I definitely want to see Nkunku as an 8 because he's just way more involved in the game. But obviously a game like this against City at home, like, it may be a case where maybe he could go up front and then you bring in just an extra midfielder because, again, we still have our wing backs in that formation, our natural wingers, natural attackers. So again, we've never seen Nkunku on the left with Maresca, and he literally said that he only wants Nkunku as a 9 and as an 8. So I think he's only going to really play Nkunku central, which, you know, we have a lot of wingers. Again, we're linked to more wingers as well. Jem's favorite guy, Felix. So it's one of them. I don't really see Nkunku play much on the wing this season.
Your guy Felix, yeah? Interesting.
I want to add, I think there's an element we probably didn't, or probably overlooked. These managers know each other really well. And it could be a factor that they change up. They're both I'm talking about Pep and Maresca changing it up. Like, in terms of Pep, he's missing players, so he could do something very different than he's usually done, because he is missing players, and Maresca does know him well, and vice versa, where Maresca might be worried that Pep knows exactly how he's going to play, and he might maybe do something different as well. I think that might be an element for just this game.
Yeah. Well, we've got some little news from Pies, CFC Pies. Says, keep an eye on the Felix and Gallagher deals because Athletic Madrid has a new signing presentation next Wednesday, and sources say they would like it to ideally be resolved one way or another by then. And I think we would have to have it resolved by then because we'd only have a week left, and, you know, God knows what we're doing with Victor Osimhen at the moment as well. So, you know, it looks like it could potentially be this way. This is the only way that we know that can make this deal work right now, and it means Felix coming the other way. It's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be interesting. Go on. It's going to be very interesting to see how much we're getting for. Obviously, for me, because apparently we've got to pay more, which I'm not really too happy about personally. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to pay more to bring him across, and then it's how does he fit in, and is he just a bench player, or what do we do with him? You know, that's the thing with J Felix. So, you know, I'll wipe the slate clean though if it means Gallagher doesn't come back. I'm cool with that. So, you know, if Gallagher's not coming back and we're bringing Felix and we get Osimhen, yes, we've strengthened the team. I agree. It's just, where does he fit in what we're doing? And for £45 million, which I think is a lot, you might as well have just not got Neto and got him But then we've got Neto for 50 mil, and then we've got to bought him in for another 45 mil, which, all right, I like competitiveness. Like, you need that. But where does he fit in? And when does he get his game time? That's, I don't want to see him in the number 9. You said anywhere across the front 3, I don't want to see him in the 9 position. I've seen enough of that. So,
we got a lot of nearly strikers, like Nkuku, Jackson, and now Felix. We're just going to play nearly strikers and get Gehi as well.
How? I mean, let me ask Ads quickly. What's your feeling around this deal anyway? Are you happy with the idea of bringing J Felix back and in the squad? And are you cool with the fact that we might even pay up to 45-50 million for that to be done as well? Or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, there's many layers to this one. I mean, I'll just remind people of how I thought about Felix when we first signed him on loan. And again, I wasn't for the signing. I felt like it didn't really make sense since we had Nkunku come in later that summer. And it seemed like quite a lot for a loan. But I thought, because there's a loan, we'll see how he does it, etc., etc. But obviously, he didn't. He was okay, but in a very, awful team, to be honest. And then this situation is a bit different. There's different players, there's better players here, better attacking players for sure. And obviously, if we have Osimhen, then we have a pure number 9 for him to play off. So it works well in that sense, but it's like, yeah, we just signed Neto. So do we really need him? And do I like the fact that it's almost like Jorge Mendes is kind of forcing us to go and sign this player? Like, I don't really like that side of it. The money is where I do actually kind of disagree with you, Jen, because given his market valuation, if we were to get him for 45 million, that's not bad, like valuation wise. And obviously he'd be willing to fall in line with our wage structure, which is something that Elise didn't want to do. So and that side of it is not bad. It's just, okay, where does he really fit? Which, again, he could do as like a backup behind Nkunku in like sort of 8 role. Or he can also play off the wing against similar to Palmer. They're probably not natural wingers, but they can obviously play there and do well there. So he could fit. It just feels like it's an extra piece that we probably don't need to have, given that we already have a lot of players here. But at the same time, if we're looking at this season in just isolation, is he better than Modric? Absolutely. Is he better than Raheem Sterling? Yes, I would agree as well. So he does come in and actually improve the squad. Whether it's enough for us to really justify the signing, that remains to be seen.
Is it just his build-up play, though, for me? Because his output is still just shocking. Even last year, he scored 7 goals in 30 games. Like, that's not bad. It's not great. Like, really inferior, to be quite honest with you. Like, I don't know how many of them he's coming off the bench or not. But, like, for me, it's just... I disagree. I just think 45-50 million for a winger in this market, you need output. He doesn't have output for me. If you're comparing him,
yeah. Sorry. If you're comparing, do you think he would do better in this system than
maybe?
When he was
and this is why I'm willing to wipe wipe it clean, the slate clean, and just say, look, all right, if we do it, we might not like how much we're getting him for, but this is what all these 80% of Chelsea fans have been saying. If he was in a better squad with better players, he would be even better. So all it means to me is that he now needs to perform when he comes on.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, obviously his output has fluctuated throughout his career. I think if he was to come here, he would need to do better than what he's been doing. Has he got the potential to do better? Yeah, he does. But it obviously comes down to, do we need to really sign him? And I don't feel like we need to sign him, but at the same time, it looks like we need to sign him to get rid of Gallagher. And obviously, sort of balance the book. So it's one of those situations. I'm not a big fan of it, especially because we just got Neto. But if we have to do it, then by all means. But I think you made a point earlier, actually, because I was listening to it, Jen, that you said if this signing means that, we then can't afford to get Osimhen, then of course I don't like that, because Felix's profile, does it help us? A little bit, but it's not something that we desperately need. What we do absolutely lack is a pure number 9, and that's why Osimhen's a much bigger priority for me.
But that would be my question. If you had to choose between the two, and it affected us how much we could put forward to Victor and bring him across, what you picking it? Because
of course, priority is absolutely Osimhen. But the only thing is, it just looks like the question is more not Felix versus Osimhen. It's more Felix versus him coming in means Gallagher can leave, or we don't get Felix, but then we have to keep Gallagher for another 6 months, which also like reduces his value by a lot, because he's only got 1 year left in his contract. And it means, he can pretty much look to leave on a free, which is a massive... again, it hurts the club a lot, because you're looking at 40 million pure profit to 0 million pure profit. That's a massive loss to take. So I can see why the club is really eager to try and make this work.
Yeah. Go on, Declared, if you want to continue with it. I'll just go on.
No, that's what Ads was saying. gives a lot of points out. I agree with you. I mean, I don't think we've actually. I mean, it's another point for me too. We haven't actually seen how Mariska his style in just fully played out. And I think like players like Felix could play out could be way more better suited for that system. Um, I mean, compared to other players, even Osimhen. Does Osimhen suit well? Does a raw number 9 suit well in the way he wants to play? But I know we lack goals. I mean, all these players aren't that great finishers. I'd want a Osimhen, but I mean, end of the day, system-wise, are these better for the system? Is Felix better? And Kuku, Gihi, are these better forwards than going for like Osimhen or any other striker? Just a raw number 9. I mean, that's a question too.
It is a question, and I think it's a question that I would say absolutely they're not. I mean, obviously, as great as Nkunku is, and he can do a job as a 9, I just feel like for the balance of this team, you need a focal point up front. Even how big we want to make the pitch be, like it would make sense to have somebody who can win their duels, he can run the channels, he's physical, and also like a target in the box once we get wide, because we get wide a lot. Madueke, he's been obviously I don't think his crossing is the best, but he's been trying to cross a lot more. Wouldn't it serve him better to have someone like an Osimhen there? Wouldn't it serve Palmer better to have an Osimhen who's going to be making a lot of runs off of him, attracting 1 or 2 defenders? So for me, I feel like it does suit having an actual number 9 there.
Yeah, because you're right. Like, because that we haven't had. I mean, the question why I bring that question up is we haven't had that focal point. You know what I mean? So I've been watching the preseason with a lot of movement up front and a player dropping deep and running, and I go, is this maybe how he wants to play because he doesn't have the focal point to see it? Like I haven't seen it with a proper focal point, if that makes sense. And I go, how would it look? You know, if we had that number 9, even if it wasn't Osimhen but someone else, and then I could see, yeah, this is how it kind of plays out. But all we've been seeing is that without the focal point, and I'm not even sure if that's how Mariska wants to play. And then if he gets that type of striker, and is he going to demand that movement that we've been seeing? Yeah, that's the question. It's more the unknown. We're not even sure, and it's very early days. And I think we're gonna have more questions going into the season.
Yeah, no, I think we will, and that might even be a good thing that we have a manager who's looking for different solutions, because I don't think he's as rigid as like a Sarri or a Conte in their methods. I think Enzo's willing to like look for different types of solutions, and he's also got a big squad with a lot of different profiles, so that's probably a good thing. Although I think, of course, eventually he will need to settle on a certain style of play so that we have continuity in our 11. But obviously on this point, I do think that even how Mark Guy was played, like that's not too different from I mean, he plays obviously different to Osimhen because he's not got the same abilities as Osimhen, but it's not like he's having to drop into midfield a lot and try and link play. Like I think Jackson does that more, but that's just Jackson's natural game. I don't feel like if Osimhen comes in, he's going to play it too much differently to how Marguis played. Because Marguis tried to play like a 9, tried to be physical, tried to run channels, tried to hold up against defenders. He's just obviously not as strong at doing that as a Osimhen. So yeah, I feel like it doesn't change too much in my opinion. I just thought certainly in the final third, we will look to cross more because we will look to see a 6'2" striker in the box who can bully defenders, which is something that we just don't have.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, for me, Gehi, yeah, one thing that Gehi did, you're right, as the difference was that I think he dropped in deep, and I think he liked to play the ball to his feet because he had that skill as well.
No, but that's my thing. I'm saying that he wasn't doing that much to like a point where I feel like it's going to be that much different to Osimhen. Like the things that he does is like he tries to run the channels, he presses well. Osimhen does these things. Maybe doesn't press as much as Guy because Guy is just like an energy bunny, but Osimhen presses a lot more than people that are like let's say like a Broya or Lukaku. Osimhen will run all day. But you don't need him to necessarily drop deep to create that much, because it wasn't like Guy was having to drop deep and try and create from deeper areas. I don't think he was having to do that.
I think it's more to the focal point. You don't want your focal point dropping that deep and whatnot, and coming from deep like he was. You want him to be the focal point. I think that's what I was bringing up. If you want to play for focal point, you want the focal point more about there, maybe not big movement, to always be on the end of things. You don't want him running, getting too deep and then running too forward and he's not in the play, and vice versa. Like we've seen many examples before.
Yeah, whether it's Havertz or Felix playing at the nines, we've seen that a lot, and obviously Osimhen, that would not be the case.
Chelsea are hopeful that agreement may be struck to sign Victor Osimhen. Yeah, the same stuff. It's just recycled all the way. Breakthrough and Felix and waiting on Osimhen. But guys, I do need to come off. Something's come up that I've got to deal with personally. So I need to come off.
No worries, bro. Hope everything's all right, though.
Yeah. Just things just happened with mum and stuff. So I just need to sort something out. But listen, I'll be back for the match reaction, guys. For that, we've done an hour and a half. Sorry, guys. I know you've only been on 20 minutes or so, but when we get back on the match reaction, we'll do like a lengthy one. Just make up for it. But I need to dip, guys. All right. But big love, guys.
Just check your DMs early this time, innit?
Huh? What did he say?
I said just check your DMs earlier this time, innit?
Yeah, sorry, I only saw that literally. I was like, geez, I would have said it to you half hour ago, mate. But I was going on one, wouldn't I? You know what I'm like when I'm on one.
All good, bro. All good, man. All good.
Cool, guys. I'll see you in a bit, all right? Take care, guys. Smash a like. See you in a bit. Peace.
Yeah, peace.